Morning. Okay, so there's something I recently learned, or rather, something I've come to begin to understand, and I like to share. You know how we would always say, oh, you need to be specific in your request, specific in what you want. Of course, it's very good. When you're specific in what you want, you're able to communicate clearly to other people, like they're able to understand, you know what you want, you're able to articulate it, and people are able to understand it clearly. So for instance, you want to ask a question, you're very direct in your question, you're very clear in your question, you want to make a request, you know what you want, and you're asking for what you want. You understand? That all is good. So even in prayers, we would tell people, when you go to prayer, be specific, right? Say exactly what you want, be clear on what you want from God and all, which is very good. But I came across two stories in the Bible that I've really been pondering upon it, and I like to share. One thing I've come to learn about life is that life is not black and white, and there is no one size fits all when it comes to life. And I think also the same applies when it comes to prayer, and when it comes to how we approach God, and how it comes to our lives and our relationship with God. So I'm going to just share the stories. First of all, in the book of Luke, chapter 18, verse 41. I'll take it from let me take it from verse 39. Luke 18 from verse 39. He says, and they which went before rebuked him that he should hold his peace, talking about the blind man that was shouting. But he cried so much the more, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus stood and commanded him to be brought unto him. And when he was come near, he asked him, verse 41, saying, what wilt thou that I shall do unto thee? And he said, Lord, that I may receive my sight. That I may receive my sight. He knows his problem and he knows what he wants. And verse 42 said, and Jesus said unto him, receive thy sight, thy faith has made thee, has saved thee. So now, this is an example of someone that was very clear on what they want, very clear on their requests. He didn't beat around the bush. He didn't talk about the history of his life. He didn't talk about what he's going through or what he has gone through. He was very clear, right? Then there is another person, there is another story in the book of John, chapter 5, from verse 5. I want to take it from verse 5. Very popular story. He said, and a certain man was there, which had an infirmity 38 years. Verse 6. And when Jesus saw him lie, and knew that he had been now a long time in that case, he said unto him, will thou be made whole? Very direct question. Will thou be made whole? Verse 7. The impotent man answered him, sir, I have no man, when the water is troubled, to put me into the pool. But while I am coming, another step down before me. Verse 8. Jesus said unto him, rise, take up thy bed and walk. And verse 9. Immediately the man was made whole. Two different scenarios, two different people, same results. They all both got their healing. But what I'm going to draw from this is that one person was very specific in his request, in what he wants. The other person, even with a direct question, a yes or no answer, he couldn't give it. He was just about his problem. One thing I realized is that as much as it is good for us to be able to articulate our requests in prayer, life has a way of putting us in a situation where we're overwhelmed. We're so overwhelmed. We're so downcast. We've come to the point where we don't have the words to express ourselves. We know what we're going through. We know what we want. We want a way out, but we don't just know how to bring out words, the kind of words to articulate it. It's just like we just want the way out, but we don't know how to say it. We don't know how to express it. And the thing is that most of the time, it is either because of you've been in a situation for so long, like this man. You have tried it in your own way. You have prayed like they would ask you to pray, right? You have prayed, you have fasted, you have sowed seed, you have done things, and it seems like this problem is not just going. This situation is not just moving. This mountain is still standing before me. So you've come to the point where your soul is so overwhelmed, you don't know the word to say. Even when they say, open your mouth and pray, your heart is so heavy, you don't know what to say. What I'm trying to say is that life has a way of getting us to that point where we don't know what to say. That when people ask us, what do you want? We just start talking about our problems and how much we have tried. But one thing I've realized is that the love of God and the mercies of God and God's compassion for our life transcends our ability to articulate our needs and our requests, even in the place of prayer. That's what I've come to realize. That God's love, God's mercy, and His compassion transcends our ability to be able to state clearly what we want. That's why I love the aspect of praying in tongues. Because when you start praying in tongues, the Holy Spirit starts guiding you on what you should pray. And you start making utterances in the right places, the right way, touching the right situation. But that's not where I'm going to. Where I'm going to is that no matter how overwhelmed you are and you don't know the right words to say, and you feel like you're not praying in the right way, you're not articulating your requests in the right way, come to this point where you can just sit still, stay still, and realize that the love of God and God's mercy and compassion transcends your ability to articulate. If you can articulate, if you're in that mind space, do it. But I'm talking to those people who are in the place in their life right now where they don't have the right words. They don't know how to pray anymore. They don't know the way to pray anymore. They don't know which words, how to articulate their requests, what to say, what to pray. They are just overwhelmed. Just back that. Just come to the point where you are sure that God's love, His mercy, and His compassion transcends your ability to articulate your requests and your needs. And even right there in your heart, He knows, and He's listening, and He's meeting you at that point of your needs. And your answered prayers is not dependent on how much you can articulate or how much you can express yourself in prayer. It's your ability to be able to depend on God who can help you. So this morning, if you're going through any kind of stuff and you're just overwhelmed and you don't have the right words, just go about your day telling yourself that God knows, God sees, and His love transcends and His compassion transcends my ability to articulate my prayer request. I don't know if this bless you, but I hope it does. Have a nice day.